Hello, everyone, and welcome to my live. I am Coach Sherri, and today it is Thursday, but I always love to call Thursdays Friday Eve. So happy Friday Eve. It's Friday Eve. Let's chat. So this is day 25 of 60 of me going live every day, and I'm going to tell you today, right now, is a challenge. But let me just tell you a little bit about my channel. My channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, real life, real issues, and real talk. And oh my goodness, I don't understand how some people, I made it, slasher chick, I made it, almost didn't make it. So I just know this. There are some channels, let me see. There are some channels, and just like I was saying the other day about, I was talking about social capital and also with how people see your channel. They see your views, and um, that's kind of how they get it together where they are just whether or not they're going to look at your channel. They're like, should I look at that channel? Or they don't have a lot of views. And oh my goodness. And they don't have a lot of views. So maybe I won't watch that channel or I won't watch that show. But, of course, we get all these different channels and videos that are recommended or maybe show up on our wall. And some of them have hours worth of lives or hours worth of information. And there's just no way. Maybe it's because of the work that I do. I talk a lot during the day, and today I was invited to be a guest speaker or the keynote speaker for a graduation at a trades school. And when I had to do a speech and motivate the graduates. It is it was such an honor to be able to speak to them, and it made it to be a long day. It was a long day. I had meetings all throughout the day and just a lot going on. So I was like, I have to go live. I have to. And so here I am. But I just really wanted to. I'm trying to understand, how do people do it? Maybe they don't talk at all except when they are on their lives, because when you come home, at least when I come home, I have a spouse. I have to speak. I have to talk. When I catch up with my young adult children, call them up, FaceTime, my dad, anybody. It's just, I feel like I talk every day, all day, but I'm here. Thank you. Yeah, it was cool. Thank you. And thank you, Marlene Motivates. And it was a huge organization. If I said it, I know everyone would probably know it, but it was Goodwill Industries. It was Goodwill University, and they were graduating 75 individuals that went through their programs for trades, and it dealt. Some of them got certified in HVAC, electrical, um, drone piloting. What else? Let me see, bank banking or banker, like to be a customer service for banks. They have a contract with banks and they do IT work with that. um they were like through five, I think, five different areas, specialty areas. And they each area, it was almost like it was very similar to a college graduation where you have your programs of study and then you have those groups come up to get their certifications and things. But what I've started to do when I do presentations or do speeches like that, and it's just so interesting because I didn't take a class on it. I haven't really looked into how to do it, but here lately they have been suggested videos for me on storytelling. And I do know in marketing, people sell, stories tell. So telling a story is very powerful, it's just very powerful when before you do a presentation. So instead of just jumping in and just talking about whatever you want to inspire them to do, or whatever charge you're going to give a group that you're speaking with, it's really good to tie it in with an experience that you may have had, or just a story that you're very familiar with. And oh my goodness, let me tell y'all. So um yeah, and it's for construction. So they can do, so a lot of big, like, operational businesses and construction sites, they use drones, and developers, they use drones to do an aerial view of their property. So if you are a developer, or if you are buying a piece of property, even just to build your personal home, you want to be able to see the land from above. You want to see, are there any um, areas of concern, any really steep drop offs that you might need to on foot, go and really investigate. You want to, get a good look at the terrain. If you have a big operations business, and you have a lot of different types of buildings, or you're looking to expand or do some renovations, sometimes, you want to go up above and you can get a good aerial view, maybe of the roofing, or, of challenging areas where there may be gaps. So, yeah, they use a lot of drones for different things. Contractors use it to see the progress of their projects. And yeah, it's a very interesting thing. But okay, so first let me tell y'all. So I get to the location. It's in their one of their bigger locations. It's a really, really beautiful facility. They have a restaurant in there. They have the Store, but they used to have this really upscale Store where if people donated to Goodwill, they could Goodwill, when they go through it, they would take the best of the best donated items and put it into this particular store. And so it was like more like a boutique. Even though it was gently used items, they were upscale items, designer bags, clothes, just the way they laid it out. It was very intentional, looked like a boutique. So they used to have that, but now they turned that into a technology kind of store where you can buy refurbished computers and cords and such for your computers and your phones. But then they have the buy by the pound kind of thing where you just get this big container on wheels, and you just can go through clothes, you can go through household accessories, appliances, whatever, and you just throw it all in there, and then they weigh it and you pay by the pound. So they have that on that campus. They even have a Skylar, um it's a Skylar Bank. That's a union, a credit union bank. They of course have the Goodwill Center with the career navigators and all of that. And then they have a huge area where you can reserve it and have big events. It's called the Bank of America room. And they have other rooms with computers, and it's a it's a campus basically. So at any rate, that's where the graduation was today. So I went and I was early a little bit, and some of the career navigators I don't know. I know most of the leadership there just from, doing business and partnerships and such. So I'm standing there talking to two of their career navigators, and they were going on and on about a previous presenter or a previous keynote speaker at one of their graduations. So most trade schools will have multiple graduations throughout the year, because their programs are 6, 10, 8, 10, 12 weeks long. So they'll have multiple graduations. So they're telling me about this speaker, and how the speaker was like, remember these numbers. She called out some numbers, and then she kind of went through, this amount is living below poverty, and that's what I used to make. And then this number is, it took me this many weeks to go through training, and then now this is what I make, and I'm at the median rate, for income or something. And everyone was just in awe of it, and because it took her 8 weeks to increase her earnings to that level. And so they're telling me all of this. Now, mind you, I don't write my speeches down. When I present, I can't really, it's challenging for me to read verbatim, especially if I have slides. It's important for me to know my content, and I do because it's my content, but it's hard for me to write a speech. So I didn't prepare a speech. I had something in mind of what I wanted to say, and I knew I wanted to tell a story, and I had the story in my mind, but I hadn't really heard anyone tell stories the way that I was telling this, that I knew I was going to tell this story. So I already was kind of like, is this going to go over okay? And so then when they were, going on and on about her and how they were so impressed because she told a story, I was thinking in my head, like, oh, okay, cool. They kind of expect a story. They're going to be used to a story. But then I was like, hold on, why do they keep talking about someone else's speech to me? It's gonna confuse me. So I said, I, I believe I'm the keynote speaker today. They said, oh yeah, I know you're on the program. Da da da. Because then I started thinking, well, maybe I'm not the keynote speaker. Maybe I'm only supposed to introduce something. I don't know, because I just don't. I don't know. But at any rate, I started meeting other people, and other people started telling me about different people talking and everything, and it was just very interesting to me because just note to self, okay, if you have an event and you invite someone to come and speak, a keynote speaker, a presenter, or whatever, don't don't talk about the previous experiences you had with other speakers. If you want to do that, do it afterwards, but don't do it before. Cuz I know for me, it's like a game. If I'm When I played basketball, you couldn't you really couldn't have long conversations with me before a game because I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. Things that I had practiced and moves I was going to try or do, or my opponent that I had, prepared for. I mean, I just need to get in my head. So I was trying to mind my business. I was sitting on the side, and they had the room set up really nice. A lot of family and friends came. It was standing room only. There were, again, 75 graduates. So when the director of that particular program, or that, the university part of it, he did the introduction to me. But before he went, I told him, I was like, listen, people were like telling me about previous speakers. He was like, don't you even worry about it, Sherry. I know you're going to handle it. Like, do you? Because, he and I have known each other for almost 7 years. So I was like, all right. But I'm going to tell you, when they read my bio, it almost brings me to tears because I, I'm in awe. Like, who is that? And so he read my bio, and I felt myself, getting filled a little bit. Like, wow, like I was gonna cry almost, but I didn't. And I went up and I started out with my story, and so many people afterwards. This woman, she told me, she said, I'm 77 years old, and I have never heard a presentation like that before. That was the best presentation I've ever heard. And it just really touched my heart. I always want to leave people with nuggets, with something that they can implement, something they can take away, think about, ponder over, have a conversation about, something that will make them say yes, make that change in their life, something that will make them continue to move forward, take action. And that's the purpose of when I say anything to groups like that. And it it was a wonderful event. It really was. You know, I'm telling you, any type of upskilling, reskilling, credentialing, be it a degree or a certification, it potentially can be an absolute game changer for that person, their family, the community, our society. And you could tell by the joy that those families that were in attendance felt, the pride that they felt for their loved ones that were going up on stage to get their certifications, their completions, their, they were getting some really heavy certifications, and especially the electrical and HVAC. Oh my goodness. And one mother, her son was the how they have like that one graduate that will speak to their class. So he was that graduate, and his journey was so remarkable. And when he got off the stage, his mother ran up and just hugged him and cried. And you just know, like, this is going to change their whole life. And she even said, she talked to me afterwards, and she came all the way from South Carolina, from Greenville, South Carolina. And she was like, I had to convince my son. He's former military. I convinced him to take this training. This training is free. Y'all, there's so many great trades, training for trades out there that are free. Organizations have received so many grants for training. They receive donations from people that believe in their programs for training to train up our community, because we need that. I told them, look, it's all hands on deck. We all need each other at this point. And she was just saying how proud she was that he stuck with it, and look where it has taken him. He secured an apprenticeship, and they have also hired him to be an assistant instructor moving forward. They always say people tell stories sell, and he can tell his story to the next class that comes in. Like, listen, you might feel like you shouldn't be here, you don't belong here, you're too good for this, this already, or whatever, you don't want to do it, but no, stick with it. You just never know. When God brings it to you, it is definitely for you, and you need to just keep going through it. No matter how hard it is, there's people that are in your corner that will help you get through it. There's SMEs, subject matter experts. Ask them to help you to break down the information so that you can understand it. You don't have to just hear it and don't get it and then fail. You can hear it, don't get it, and then you reach out for more assistance. It's absolutely out there. So I just really, was enjoying just seeing the families and the camaraderie, and just knowing the sacrifice that some of them probably had to make. Because even the guy that was the keynote speaker, well, he was the keynote graduate speaker, and he was even saying, I had my own business, but there were so many things in my business because I didn't have an electrician certification that I couldn't do. And so because I couldn't do it, I had to outsource and spend money, or I had to lose money and not take the job. And that just wasn't feeding me and my family. So, I had to stop doing it. But coming here, yeah, my schooling was paid, but I had to do a different type of job just to make ends meet, but it wasn't paying what I was making before. But I sacrificed. And now he's on the road to do exceptionally well. And he has a great demeanor. He's former military, so he has probably really good habits in terms of being reliable with time management and things like that. That's what I've recognized in people, men and women that were former military when they go into the workforce. So he definitely can do some great things, and I'm excited to see where all this is going to take him. But I'm just happy, y'all, to be here. I made it. And I'm exhausted though, and it is Friday Eve. One more day to make it right and get it tight, and then I'm just gonna really break it all the way down and relax over the weekend, because these past couple of weeks have been a whirlwind, between going to Winston-Salem, then to Baltimore, Virginia, back to Charlotte on the grind. It's a lot of moving pieces right now going on. And I've really been enjoying Slasher Chick's lives, because she drops some nuggets that I absolutely have implemented right away in my professional life. And Slasher Chick, I wish I could talk to you like for real offline to tell you how a particular meeting that I had this morning went. utilizing one of your strategies. It was like one of the dopest meetings ever, and I really enjoyed it. So as far as storytelling, again, I have never taken a class, training, or anything. I hadn't read anything about it. It's just something that God put in my heart. Like he just basically, when I was on the panel, I was on two panels last week at a conference, and he put it in my spirit to not just do my presentation. Like, I literally had a presentation created. They had my PowerPoints on deck. It was on. I was on a stage. I don't know if you've been on a at a conference, and they have the monitors down low, that on the ground. So if you're presenting, you don't have to look back, turn to look at your PowerPoint. You could just glance down, and your slides are right there, and you can basically navigate them that way as well. And I have no idea. Well, it was God. Whenever I don't really know, I know it has to be God. And I was, I want to say, oh, my presentation was after lunch. So I was there from the morning, and I heard other presenters go, and they were good, good information and everything. But I just started feeling like everyone sounds alike. Everyone's doing it the same way, as if that's the way you're supposed to do it. You get up there, you tell them your name, what your business is or your organization, what your title is, how long you've been doing what you do, maybe give them a couple of things so that you can jot it down. But it all just started to sound exactly alike to me. And I started looking around, and I noticed I had a lot of external partners, stakeholders in the room, and I was thinking about the relationships that we have and the dynamic things that we do. And I was like, I don't want to just do a regular smegular presentation. I want to like bring them in with a story. And so at lunch, I remember I went to a couple of my external partners, and I said, listen, I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna say, but I know I'm going to mention you. And when I mention you, I really want you to stand up, because when you stand up later on today, people in this room are going to want to meet you. They're going to want to come to you and ask you how. So I need you to stand up when I say your name. And they were like, all right, okay, Sherri. Well, I don't know why, but okay. And so, oh, I'm glad. Thank you. And so I went up there, and so they had a whole technical guy, like, basically a technical team, that because we had to send them our PowerPoint deck days before. So he already had me queued up and everything. Like, okay, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna use my PowerPoint. And everybody was like, what? I said, yeah, I mean, I may, but we'll see. I think I'm gonna do something a little different. And they were like, okay, almost like, what is she going to say? And so when I went up there, I felt like I just walked into a room of friends, you know, like the way I walked up to the podium and just kind of leaned. I promise y'all, I didn't practice it. I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't say, okay, this is what I'm going to say first, and then I'm going to say that. No, I just went up there and I just went in on the story. And I would tell you the story, but I literally have never heard anyone say a story like this, like saying these types of words. And it's like, it's humorous a little bit, because it's humorous, but it's true. When they think about it, they're like, but wait, no, but that's right. But it's funny to hear it said like that. And then I introduced myself. So I said the story. I had the story from the beginning to the end. It had a, climatic crescendo, whatever you want to call it. um, and then it they didn't know who or what I was talking about. until the end when was like, and then, like, and that person, that was me. And I am Sherri, boom, boom, boom. And this is what I do. And that was the first time I ever did that. And that was last week. And then this week, at the graduation, I didn't use the same story. I have so many stories in me. I don't need to use the same one twice, but I didn't use the same story, but I used a similar format. But the difference was he read my bio beforehand. But even with that, they didn't know where I was going with the story. So it still worked out. But I was like, there's something to this storytelling. And God brought it to me. And now that you all are here, you're going to start seeing it probably pop up as suggested videos for you too. So the other day, now Lisa Nichols, I really, really like her. I admire what she's done, here on YouTube with, who she is as a speaker, a coach, a motivator, a transformer of lives, inspirational speaker, connector of people, places, and things. She's an advocate. She's just a lot of great things. And I always watch her videos. Well, not always, but I'm definitely subscribed to her channel, and I do catch quite a few of her videos, let's say. I'm very proud of what she's done with her career, especially on social media. The contracts that she's been able to secure are definitely motivating. It's one of those, if she can do it, so can I. And I've never ever caught her live. I've never caught her live ever. I'll watch her replays and such, but I've never caught an actual live. So I saw that she was live and she only had 56 people in her chat. I say that as I have two. But I saw that she only had 56 people in her chat. So I was like, that's a relatively small number. I bet if I communicate in her chat, she might notice me. And so I went into her chat and was listening to what she was saying. Loved her crochet. She had this beautiful crochet poncho on. It was gorgeous. And she even said something about it, like, so I think one of her dear friends made it or something. But at any rate, she was talking about an upcoming event that she's going to be hosting. And y'all, the event is a like storytelling training or storytelling workshop, a storytelling conference. This was probably Monday or Tuesday, I want to say. What's today? Thursday? It was probably Monday when I saw it. So, yeah, I really like her. So I was like, what? Like, listening to her, and I'm thinking, huh. And I didn't even say hello to anyone in the chat. I just started talking to her. And she pulled me up. Like, she pulled my just how I am, like this. She pulled me up on her thing. So she must use StreamYard or something like it. And she was like, Coach Sherri, okay, like she said my name like 4 times. And I was like, not I don't trust, and please trust. I do not get starstruck. But I just felt like this is right. It felt right. Like, yeah, there's no reason why I shouldn't know Lisa. Like, she should know me. I should know her. We should know each other. And I was thinking, like, you know what? I just might go to LA to her conference because I used to always do that back in the day. I used to go to different workshops and conferences just off the cuff, you know, and it would be international stuff. And I used to love it. And I gleaned a lot of information. Like, I definitely have a lot of tools in my toolbox because of it. And just like I told y'all, I have not had any formal training. I had not looked at any videos, read any books, articles, anything about storytelling. I just literally only have seen videos of them popping up, and I hadn't even looked at them. It's just that when I saw that Lisa Nichols was live, I didn't even know what she was talking about. I jumped on, and that's what she was talking about. How she's going to, help the people that attend develop their stories, because that's where presentations are going. I guess this is my point. That's where presentations are going. It's not status quo. It's not regular schmegular anymore. It's storytelling. It's storytelling. Just like I did a coaching session today with someone who has I mean, y'all, he has an amazing interview coming up on Monday. And he reached out to me yesterday and was like, "Oh, they called me. I have an interview for Monday. Boom, boom. Do you have anything available?" And I didn't, but I, fit him in. And he, I said, "How do you typically do on interviews?" He said, "Oh, not good. People always tell me I don't say enough, and I don't really like bragging about myself on interviews. So I don't, go into too much detail, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, first of all, you need to stop talking about what you've done well as a brag, especially when you're in an interview. You have to own what you've done, and it's not called bragging, it's called sharing what you've done so that they can see how you've done it and see you doing it for them, because those are your transferable skills. And we went into it, and I also was telling him, because he said, "Well, I just don't know how to really like formulate the answers. I feel like I'm gonna do run-on sentences, and I'm just gonna lose their interest, and this, that, and the other." So I taught him the method that I teach everyone, which is so dynamic. It's called the STAR technique, and it's where you start off with, with, it's almost like any question, even down to what is your name, like how did you why are your name that, you can answer utilizing the STAR technique. And it's where you talk about the situation, the what, what happened, why was that even a thing, and then the task is the T, what was your role in it, and then the A is the action steps. That's where you list what you've done. First I did this, then I did that, then I did this. So it's saying, maybe you did research, maybe you delegated, maybe you you know planned it out and had to make a report on it. And then what was the result? That's the R. And I said, that's what they want to know from you. They invited you so that they can hear it from you. And that's telling the story. It's more than saying, yes, I can do it, or yes, I've done that before. It's giving them the story. So if we're giving people the stories in interviews so that they can actually see us in doing that type of work or working on those types of projects, then you can only imagine how powerful it is when you do it in a presentation, how memorable what you are saying to them will be, how impactful it will be. Because how many conferences have you gone to and you leave and it was all good, you could feel it, but you walk away not really full. You still feel like, well, at least the place was nice, the food was good. That's not what you want. Yes, it helps us relate. Absolutely. And how are you, Charlene Hill? Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Yes, it helps us relate. And it is divine order. I know it's God's promise. This is my assignment. You can't always explain your assignment. When you get that envelope and you're told to not open it up until you get to your seat because it's only for your eyes, that's the assignment that I am in now. That's why people don't understand it sometimes, but it's not for them to understand, because I opened the envelope and that's what it said. And we all have an assignment. We all have an envelope that we got, that we were supposed to take back to our seat and then open it. Some people decided not to open it. Some people opened it and closed it right back up because it didn't say what they wanted to do. It's not about what you want, though. It's about what is given. And it's given to you because it's known that you can do it. It's you have it in you to do it. And that's the beauty of it, because as hard as you might think it will be, the other side, the other side is remarkable. It's like light. It's a bright shining light on the other side. And it doesn't stay lit all the time, because you have ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys. You have many assignments in life. And when you're in the assignment, sometimes it is a little darker, because you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to find the light switch. You're trying to find the doorknob. You're trying to find the gate. But you don't always see it, so you're feeling around instead of stopping and just assessing where you're at, understanding what's underfoot. Are you standing on dirt? Are you standing on grass? Are you standing on pavers? Are you standing on cement? Are the walls around you, are they wallpaper, or are they painted, or what kind of windows? Enjoy the sight, enjoy where you are, because those are those lessons that people tend to miss. The things that are right there around them, because they're so busy trying to find that doorknob, that light switch to get out. And yeah, eventually you will get out, because I think God just says, all right, look, it's right here, just go. Um, and you go, and then there may have been someone else along the way that may have had the same assignment you had 2 or 3 assignments ago, and they took it all in where you didn't. You just were looking for the exit, and they're telling you, oh, you were there too. Wow, did you see this? Wasn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness, I didn't realize it was chenille until I touched it, and it felt so soft. It was a soft. And you're looking like, what? Chenille? Wasn't it soft? I didn't even see that, because you walked right past it. You was looking for the exit. So wherever you are, stop. And when they say stop and smell the roses, stop and smell the roses and look around. You just never know, like, the blessings that are right there. That's what you're supposed to see too. That helps you continue to move forward. That gives you, that's part of your testimony. What you see is part, and what you do, what you experience is part of your testimony. And maybe you would not have seen the chenille lounge, or whatever, but you would have seen something else that would have caught your eye, because even though we all might be in the same room, we see all different things within that room. And what we see, those are our transferable skills that no one else can take away from us. So maybe it was a lounge chair that was covered in chenille, but the feet of it were made out of mahogany wood and were so nicely polished, and that caught your attention. And how decorative it was carved, that caught your attention. And that's something that might help you down the road somewhere, whereas the other person, they caught the chenille, and that's fine too. And that's the kind of team you want. We all want to see different things, but you want to see. That's the point. You don't want to walk out and be like, I don't see what the value. I didn't see anything in there. That was a waste of time. Was it? It really was not. So I just wanted to come on here. This is that Friday Eve. I didn't have anything really planned. I'm just grateful to be here. um, I definitely feel like I'm all talked out. It was just a wonderful event this evening, but it was a full day, full week. Listen, y'all, it's been nonstop since January. I'm trying to figure out, when does things slow down? And I guess they say that it slows down at the end. But I'm just gonna continue to enjoy the ride, and wherever it takes me, I'm ready for it. So, and I hope you all are too, for sure. Um, and we all have that type of journey, and don't think that what one person has you can't get, because you can, but you just gonna get it in a different way, and it's gonna look a little different. But you have to just enjoy it for you. Don't want what they have, want what you can get, and that's how you gonna get it. But you have to know what it is. I was telling the graduates today, we all have things that we want to do, dreams and aspirations and such. But if it's all in your head, you know you got to write it down and make it plain. If it's in your head, what good is that going to do? What if something happens to you tonight, tomorrow? Do you know how valuable the cemetery is, with the most beautiful songs, the best written books, the best recipes? but that had not made it anywhere, but just stayed in someone's head. So, you don't want to have it. You want to get it published if you can, but you definitely want to have it down. So even if you aren't able to get it to that next level, your future's future can they'll find it, and it'll get out there. Just make sure you date it, write your name on it. I know someone was saying about, we were talking about old school trademarks and old school copyright stuff, how back in the day, I don't know if they still say to do this. I mean, because they have plenty of lawyers that can help you with that, or you could do it yourself. But they would say, yeah, write out your document, whatever your idea is, and put it in an envelope, sign the seal of the envelope, and then mail it to yourself and never open it unless you have to. And that document will stand up as that was your original idea. So I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but that's something that's like an old school tactic. So yes, enjoy the ride for sure, Charlene Hill. It's so great to see you all. I hope you all had a great week, a great day. And again, this is day 25 of 60. 25 of 60, y'all, that I've gone live every day. And I'm just so happy that I've been able to honor that challenge by doing it. Grace was my word for last year, and I was good for using it, like giving myself grace, giving other people grace. But the grace I'm giving myself with this challenge is to do it. I'm giving myself that grace. It doesn't have to be an hour, it doesn't have to be 30 minutes, it doesn't have to be, but just do it. So that's my grace, but I am going to do it. That's the point, and I'm glad to be here. So I want everyone to have a great rest of your evening, and I shall see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. I see you with Charlene Hill. It was Slasher Chick, Delightful Dawn. It was Marlene Motivates. Thank you all for being here and rocking with me tonight. For those of you who were just listening in, maybe you couldn't get to your computer or you're watching on television, thank you. Also, the new subscribers, I appreciate you for joining the team. And the ones that's been rocking with me since day one and beyond, I appreciate you for all of your support. All right, everyone, until we speak again, stay safe.